This is scary, but this is what Alex Jones says about Nancy Pelosi and what's going on and what he predicted 2 years ago.
Mark my words, by next week, you'll be hearing he's a dictator that needs to leave. Then they'll put pressure under 25th Amendment on the rest of his cabinet to come after them and indict them. Because the Justice Department won't act, Trump won't move against them, and so they're going to up and ratchet up the game towards civil war. Harvard law professor, delaying impeachment trial is highly unconstitutional. Yeah, and letting them get away with this is. A plot to make Pelosi president. Now Adam Schiff wants to go after Vice President Pence. And that's up on Infowars.com. We told you that hundreds of times. And who becomes president if he's removed? Pelosi. Then who's ready to run for office, still run the Democratic Party, waiting for a broker convention? Hillary Clinton. Pelosi's the placeholder. She becomes the first woman president. But, oh, it's okay. We have an election a few months later, and boom, Hillary Rodham Clinton is in. It's all set up. It's all prepared. We told you 2 years ago with total precision.
All I know is that it's so extreme I don't think it will happen, but I think there are other plots undermining this whole thing. But the Supreme Court or the president or other individuals are going to have to act because this is unconstitutional. The Constitution hangs by a thread, and you can't upsert authority and power like they're doing. Gun rights. I hope it doesn't come to this, but this is the worst case scenario. Listen up.
Romania is a homogenous culture.
Yep.
It's a homogenous people.
Yep.
It's so when he was essentially ordering the military to protect him at any cost.
Yep.
What was the response of the army, of the military?
And this is the bottom line that we're eventually going to get to in the West if things keep going crazy. Eventually, when he was saying to the army and the police, look, these people are trying to kill me, you need to kill them. The police said, look, they're Romanians, I'm Romanian, I'm not shooting them. And they turned around and they said they refused to do it. And I say this all the time with a lot of these crazy Second Amendment laws, et cetera, et cetera. It's all right for Beto O'Rourke to run his little stupid mouth and say stupid things. But if he tells the cops to run around and take weapons from people that they need to protect themselves, I'd like to think that the cops are going to stand up and say, no, we're not doing that. And this is what happens if you push things too far. I still have enough faith in humanity to believe that in the West, especially in America, Western Europe has fallen, but in America, there's going to come a point where the pawns that the government used to enforce their laws are going to turn on them, and then they're going to be in real trouble. So,
I hope not. Go to the next part here. I saw this tape before. We're going to play it again. It's important to understand what this guy is saying. The news media has not covered it well.
If you make a high crime and misdemeanor out of going to the courts, it is an abuse of power. It's your abuse of power. You're doing...
The Congress is an abuse of power. That's what he just said.
Precisely what you're criticizing the president for doing.
You're criticizing precisely what you've accused the president of doing. So you're doing precisely what you're criticizing President Trump for doing. You're doing what you criticize Trump for doing. You are doing it. This is how truth becomes dark and light becomes dark and dark becomes light. When you twist things around, the people that don't understand their rights don't know what's going on.
We have a third branch that deals with conflicts of the other two branches. And what comes out of there and what you do with it is the very definition of legitimacy.
So he says, listen, don't pull your zipper down and stick your ding-dong in a light socket. They know that. They're just butchering everything. Most people put devices in their houses from evil mega companies that listen to you. They're saying pedophilia is good all over the damn news. Lawyers that work to take down Trump say, I love pedophiles. I mean, these people are out of control. And Turley's sitting there talking to them like, now listen, you don't want to jump off that cliff without a parachute. And they're just sitting there. They don't care. They're evil.
Well, they're definitely not constitutional. And the Supreme Court is sitting on its hands, too. Well, we're in a constitutional crisis. I'm going to leave it there. The good news is I believe Trump will eventually prevail. But there needs to be diligence done. I don't know why he doesn't use his executive powers and say, hey, what you're doing is unconstitutional. You haven't released this stuff to the Senate, and until you do, there is no articles of impeachments. There is no Senate trial, and you haven't started the impeachment process, and you haven't finished your responsibilities on it. You submit the articles, and let's get the Senate trial going on. And if you don't submit them, there is no real impeachment process. This is all just a con job or a sham. So I don't know why the president hasn't fully said that, and why the Supreme Court hasn't backed him up. I don't understand that. So I think other things are going on all the time, and we have to be diligent. This is Roger Martin from Billings, Montana. Good day. These are two short clips from Infowars.com and Alex Jones.